Before anything new can begin, something must end. Not symbolically, not emotionally, biologically. Most people do not carry unfinished years in their calendars. They carry them in their nervous systems. Unprocessed experiences, unresolved emotions, predictions that never updated. And then they wonder why the new year feels heavy before it even starts. This episode is not about setting intentions. It is not about goals. It is not about manifesting a better year. It is about closure. Because without closure, the brain does not reset. It repeats. This is not philosophy. It is neuroscience. The brain is a prediction machine. Carl Friston's free energy principle tells us that the brain constantly tries to reduce uncertainty by predicting what will happen next. These predictions are not conscious. They are embodied. Your posture, your breathing, your emotional reactions, your expectations, all of these are predictions made visible. When an experience ends without resolution, the prediction does not close. The brain keeps it active. This is why certain memories intrude, why emotions resurface without warning, why some years feel like echoes of previous ones. The system never finished processing. Time passing does nothing to close these loops. Only state completion does. Now let's make this very clear. Closure is not forgetting, suppressing, reframing, thinking positively. Those strategies increase entropy. Closure is a biological update. Antonio Damasio explains that the autobiographical self is reconstructed continuously from bodily states and memory signals. If those signals remain unresolved, the self reconstructs itself the same way. This is why you can change circumstances and still feel unchanged. The system carried unfinished data forward. So when people say, "I just want to leave this year behind," they are misunderstanding what needs to happen. You don't leave years behind. You complete states. Completion allows the system to release prediction. This is why grief rituals exist in every culture, why endings matter, why acknowledgement precedes renewal. Without completion, systems leak energy. Ilya Prigogine showed that systems far from equilibrium either reorganize or degrade. Unfinished emotional states are entropy sources. They drain attention. They distort perception. They bias future predictions. This is why fresh starts fail. The system is still busy. Now pause here. Think about the year you are closing. Not the events, not the story, the residue. What still feels unfinished? What still triggers reaction? What still pulls your attention backwards? That is not weakness. That is information. Now here is the key insight. You do not need to analyze these experiences. Analysis keeps predictions active. You need to complete them at the level they were encoded. Most experiences are not encoded as stories. They are encoded as states. This is why talking about something does not always release it. The nervous system needs a different signal. Let's slow this down further. Memory is not storage. It is reconstruction. Every time you remember something, the memory becomes plastic again. This is called memory reconsolidation. During reconsolidation, the brain has an opportunity to update the emotional prediction associated with that memory, but only if the state changes. If you recall an experience while staying in the same emotional state, the prediction relocks. Nothing changes. This is why rumination exhausts people. It reactivates without resolution. So the goal of a quantum reset is not reflection, it is state completion. Now we're going to move into the first practical phase. This is not a meditation. It is not journaling. You can listen to this passively, or you can engage gently. Nothing here requires effort. In fact, effort will interfere. Let's begin with orientation. Right now, your nervous system is oriented toward the present moment, but unfinished states pull it backward. So the first step in closing a year is not reviewing it. It is anchoring the system in now, not philosophically, physiologically. Take a moment to notice where you are, Feel the contact points of your body, the weight, the support beneath you. You don't need to change anything, just orient. This is not relaxation, it is location. The nervous system needs to know where now is before it can let go of then. This is foundational in trauma neuroscience and predictive processing. Now, without effort, let the year you are closing come to mind. Not the highlights, not the worst moments, just the sense of it. Does it feel heavy? Fragmented? Incomplete? Good. That felt sense is the state signature. Do not narrate it. Do not judge it. Just notice it. Now here's the critical move most people skip. Instead of asking, what happened, ask, what state did my system learn to live in? Was it vigilance? Holding on? Disappointment? Pressure? Over-responsibility? Numbness? Again, do not analyze. Just notice what resonates. This is not psychology. This is pattern recognition. The brain recognizes states faster than stories. Now let's do something subtle but powerful. Without trying to change that state, notice how your body holds it. Is it in the chest, the throat, the jaw, the belly? Do not breathe into it. Do not soften it. Just notice. This noticing alone begins to loosen rigidity, because attention introduces flexibility. Danielle Bassett's work shows that systems reorganize when rigidity drops. We are not forcing reorganization. We are allowing it. Now comes the most important part of closure. Acknowledgement. Not forgiveness. Not meaning-making. Acknowledgement. Say internally, slowly, this state was learned, not chosen, not created deliberately. Learned. This single recognition reduces self-blame, which is a major source of resistance. The nervous system releases faster when it is not under attack. Now say, this state helped me survive something, even if it no longer serves you. States persist because they were once adaptive. Honoring that function allows release. Now notice something subtle. When you stop fighting a state, it begins to complete. Completion does not require effort. It requires permission. Now stay with this for a few moments. You may feel nothing. You may feel emotion. You may feel tired. All are signs of processing. This is not performance. This is biology. Now, before we continue, a brief note. If this episode feels different from typical New Year content, that's intentional. If you're finding value here, liking the video and subscribing helps this work reach people who are ready for depth, not pressure. You'll also find the books referenced in this episode linked below through Amazon, if you want to explore the science behind this process more deeply. Now let's continue. At this point, many people expect a release. But the brain does not release on command. It releases when it detects completion. Completion requires one final signal. Orientation to safety. Notice something neutral around you. A sound. A color. A stable object. This tells the nervous system, this is now. That is then. The prediction can update. This is how closure happens. Not dramatically. Not symbolically. Quietly. Now, without trying to create change, notice whether the felt sense of the year has shifted even slightly. Not gone. Just different. That difference is the beginning of closure. We are not done yet. In the following part, we will complete this reset, fully address unfinished emotional loops, open the nervous system to new probabilities, explain how to open a year after closing one, and anchor a state that allows the new year to unfold differently. Do not rush this. Completion happens in layers. For now, let this land. Now, let's continue. At this point, something important may already be happening. Not fireworks. Not relief in a dramatic sense. More like space. A slight quieting. A subtle loosening. That is how completion usually begins. The nervous system does not announce closure. It releases gradually, once it senses that no further action is required. Now let's clarify something essential. Closing a year is not about processing every event. That would be impossible. It is about closing the dominant state the year trained you into. Because states are what carry forward. Not memories. Not stories. States. This is why some people repeat the same year in different forms for a decade. The environment changes. The calendar advances. But the dominant state remains untouched. So let's work directly with that. Earlier, you identified a state signature. The felt sense of the year. Now we're going to allow that state to complete its function. Every state exists for a reason. Vigilance exists to protect. Numbness exists to conserve energy. Over-responsibility exists to prevent loss. Pressure exists to maintain control. States persist because they believe they are still needed. So instead of trying to get rid of a state, we complete its job. Internally, say this slowly. I see what you were trying to do, not what it did wrong, not how it limited you, what it tried to do. This single shift changes the entire dynamic, because the nervous system relaxes when it is understood. Now notice your body again. There may be a micro shift, breath lengthening, muscle softening, a sense of tiredness. This is not collapse. This is downregulation. It means the system is releasing effort. Now let's do something that feels almost too simple. Allow yourself to feel gratitude, not for the year, but for your system. Not gratitude as a concept, just acknowledgement. This kept me going. That's it. Gratitude works here not because it's positive, but because it signals completion. Now pause again. Nothing to do. This pause is part of the reset. The brain needs stillness to update. Now let's talk about opening a new year. This is where most people rush. They close nothing and open everything. But in biology, opening happens only after closure. A cell does not divide until replication completes. A wound does not heal until inflammation resolves. Opening a year is not about declaring intentions. It is about allowing new predictions. Predictions only change when the old ones lose urgency. Now notice something subtle. If you try to imagine the coming year right now, does it feel heavy or open? There is no right answer. This question is diagnostic. If it feels heavy, the reset is still in progress. If it feels open, the system is ready to update. Do not force openness. Openness emerges. Now here is the key principle for opening a year. You do not open a year by deciding outcomes. You open a year by stabilizing a baseline state that allows new outcomes to emerge. This is where quantum language becomes precise. In quantum systems, measurement does not create reality. It selects among possibilities consistent with the state. Similarly, your nervous system does not create the future. It samples from probabilities consistent with its baseline. So opening a year means adjusting the baseline, not by effort, by regulation. Now let's gently orient toward that. Ask yourself this, and don't answer verbally. What does my system need more of to feel coherent, not successful, not impressive? Coherent. It might be rest. It might be simplicity. It might be honesty. It might be fewer obligations. It might be safety. Notice what arises. That is not desire. That is regulation information. When people ignore this signal, they set goals that destabilize them. When they listen, life reorganizes quietly. Now, let's stabilize this. Without visualizing specific outcomes, allow a felt sense of coherence to emerge. What does coherence feel like in your body? Not excitement, not motivation. Stability. Breathing without effort. Posture without tension. Attention without scattering. This is the state you carry into the year. This is the opening. Now here is something deeply important. Opening a year does not require optimism. Optimism is cognitive. Opening requires capacity. Capacity to respond. Capacity to adapt. Capacity to integrate. When capacity increases, opportunity follows. This is why people often say, I don't know why, but things just started working. They didn't push harder. They stabilized. Now, before we close, another brief reminder. If this way of approaching the new year feels different, calmer, more grounded, liking the video and subscribing supports the channel and helps this work reach others who need it. All the books informing this episode are linked below through Amazon. Using those links allows this research-based work to continue at no extra cost to you. Now let's complete the reset. Take one more moment to orient to the present. Notice where you are. Notice the support beneath you. Internally say, this year is complete, not as a declaration, as a recognition. Then say, the next year will unfold from this state, no pressure, no demand, just acknowledgement. If emotion arises, allow it. If nothing arises, that's fine too. Completion does not look the same for everyone. Now let's integrate what just happened. You did not erase the past. You did not reframe your story. You did not set goals. You allowed the nervous system to complete a loop. That is a reset. It is subtle. It is biological. And it lasts. This is why people who do this work often feel different without knowing why. The pressure is gone. Now let's be clear. This does not mean the next year will be perfect. It means it will be different. Different because the system is not dragging unfinished predictions forward. Different because attention is freed. Different because energy is not leaking backward. That alone changes everything. In the next episode, we will go further. We will address one of the most damaging ideas of New Year culture, that you must become someone new to change your life. We will look at why this backfires neurologically, why identity pressure creates resistance, and how integration, not reinvention, allows transformation. But for now, rest here. You have closed something real, not symbolically, not emotionally, biologically. This is how a year ends, and this is how another one truly begins.